We are going to get on with the program here and start our our induction ceremony. I do want to remind everybody that you have a very nice program with everybody listed in the program in order, and also be aware that there are many different categories that we are inducting individuals and teams into this evening. Administrative excellence, academic excellence, professional excellence, community and civic excellence, athletic individual excellence, of course athletic coaching excellence, and athletics team excellence. So there are many different categories, so it's a very robust look at Rainy River and those people that have made an effect on those categories. Our first inductee this evening is going to be for administrative excellence, and at this time we will be having Alan Rasmussen come to the stage to be inducted into that Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Dieter, and thank you, Ringer, and the Hall of Fame Committee for your efforts and persistence to establish the Hall of Fame. Thank you to Dr. Ryach for honoring us with your presence, and good evening. I'm honored and humbled to become a member of Rainy Rivers College Hall of Fame and join all the present members and tonight's inductees. Thank you to Sue Collins for nominating me, and to the selection committee for choosing. Don't know if this will work or not.
That's why we have switched mics.
Hello.
There you go.
So we went from the red one to the green one, and it sounds good. And thanks to the selection committee for choosing me, and thanks to my longtime friend and Rainy River partner, Tammy Wood, who can still read my writing and type this acceptance speech. Although I have been chosen to enter Rainy River's Hall of Fame and award a beautiful commemorative plaque, I am here not solely because of my accomplishments. I am here because I was fortunate to have worked and associated with all the wonderful and capable people who did the real work at Rainy River. The terms "I am self-made" or "I made it on my own" are myths. We are all helped and assisted by generous and caring people every day of our lives. I was fortunate to have Gail, Eric, and Matt as my family, who supported me through the years at Rainy River that many times required extensive travel and time away from home. And also to have been surrounded by great student-centered colleagues, including administrators, staff, faculty, foundation board members, and countless members of our community who all love and continue to contribute to our beloved Rainy River campus and student success. One of my most pleasurable assignments was as Rainy River's golf coach. That position description purposely excluded the duty of coaching golf, because most of my players were more skilled than I was. My job was to schedule the meets, drive the band, golf with the other coaches, and buy the first round. I would never have been invited to join this Hall of Fame because of my coaching skills or my one-loss record. For the members of those teams that are here, thanks. Thanks a lot for the memories. We had a great time. I would be up here all night if I attempted to list all the names, past and present, who have made Rainy River a friendly, welcoming, and accessible institution of higher learning. But this is an opportunity to thank you, not only from me, but from all the students and others who have benefited from your concern, knowledge, dedication, and hard work to make Rainy River a quality and successful college. Personally, from Gail, Matt, and I, when Eric died, I thank all of you for your concern, empathy, and emotional support. You and this community provided a safe refuge to deal with the grief and begin the healing process. You were, and you still are, my foundation. I'm just a person with a great title, and my name is on this plaque. But you did the work, and this really belongs to you, all of you. When you see this plaque on the wall at Rainy River, remember all of your names are embedded in the grain in the wood and the composition of the elements that make up this award. Thank you for 54 wonderful years and still counting.
Thank you, Alan, and congratulations. Our next induction is for academic excellence, and being honored at this time will be Mr. George Schlief.
Well, Ras, you're a tough act to follow. Yeah, always has been. Good to see you, and thank you for
George,
everything
hold it
that
up right to your mouth.
Thank you for all you did for the college. Yeah. And I'd like to congratulate my fellow inductees and thank them for the contributions that they made to the college. It's just great. This event has meant so much to me because it's been about 27 years since I walked out of the door. And it's just so nice to reminisce and to think about the early days of the college and what it did for people, what it did for our community. It's just great. I'd like to thank my family, which is sitting in the back corner over there, and for putting up with me for all these years. And then I'd especially like to thank my partner in life for the last 12 years, Jackie Garnett. She's been so understanding and in these so-called golden years. Don't ever believe that. Yeah. As I think of Rainy River, I think of the word opportunity, and it gave so many people different opportunities. The students, the opportunity to learn and to grow and to pursue their goals. The athletes, it gave them the opportunity to practice and to compete in the sports that they loved. And also the faculty, which was great. We were a very close bunch, worked together, and gave us the opportunity to do our thing. And the staff and was just so great, and the community and the support that the community gave the college. So for the people in International Falls. I think we're fortunate to have had the college and appreciate what the college has done for the community and what the college has done for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, George, and congratulations once again. Our next induction is going to be for professional excellence, and being inducted in this category this evening is going to be Ron Foyt. And Ron, unable to be with us here this evening, so to accept on his behalf is his good friend, Mr. Dean Blaze.
60 years ago, I faced this way, sitting down, and played my accordion at the 7th grade party. This is a lot easier. That was a lot of stress. This isn't, because it's Ron Foyt. And thank you for the selection committee for honoring Ron with this honor. He's going to really be disappointed he couldn't make it tonight, especially when I rib him about it. Congratulations to all the inductees, and it's nice to be home and see everyone. It's been a long time since I've seen a lot of you. Matt Rasmussen came up from Gustavus, especially. Matt played goalie for me. I called Ron to talk about this award and what it meant, and he said he's humbled and honored, just like Alan Rasmussen said. Ron and I were high school friends, and still are. Sometimes we don't talk, maybe a year or 2 or 3. We did everything together. We hunted together, fished together, hung out together, double dated. Ron had the best job of anyone my age. He drove the Danny. Terry Thompson knows what that is. That was a fish boat on Rainy Lake. He would deliver mail, propane, gas to Kettle Falls, and then he'd pick up fish on the way back from Lauren Erickson, Kulikowski, or wherever he could bring fish back for McCarthy. So he's been that type of guy his whole life. He's had a lot of jobs, and what it says in his bio there is that he's excelled so much in the NHL. Everyone wanted to be a pro hockey player in National Falls, and he made it. He made it by obviously going over to Fort Francis. He never made the high school team his senior year. That hurt him a lot. But instead of pouting and feel bad for himself, he went and played for the Royals, and they called him Ronnie Royal. And that helped him in future years by playing with the Canadians. And it wasn't an easy job. There were only 12 teams when he started in the National Hockey League, and he went to the WHA after that. So it was a tough job. His thing is skating. A lot of times when there was an icing, he would beat the other official back to the dot where the puck came from in the defensive zone. And that's what I think helped him right away when he went to the NHL tryout camp. He attended Rainy River after he played for the Royals that year, and then joined myself down at the University of Minnesota. He worked his way through school by cleaning stands after Gopher games, refereeing intramural hockey, and doing anything around concessions. The coaches loved him. Glenn Sonmore, my coach there, let him practice with them on Mondays when we came back from the road, when it was just a fun time. You'd go out and scrimmage, and Ron was allowed to play that way and have fun. But believe it or not, he graduated on time, 4 years, and I don't think Hazel and Harry, his dad and mother, had to pay a penny for his education. He's taken it to another level now. He still is working today. He's an observer for the NHL. He goes to most of the Wild games. When I go there, I'm entitled to go up into his suite, have a few beers maybe, and watch the game and watch Ron work. He's a supervisor of officials in the WCHA and the NCHC and was honored with the Mark Rudolph Award 5 years ago as one of the top officials in his position. A long way from International Falls, the only Minnesotan to ever referee in the NHL. His career kind of ended after 800 games when he was doing a face-off, and one of the Chicago Blackhawks players, I'm not going to mention him, he got kicked out of the circle, and on the way by he tripped Ron, and nothing happened to him. Ron at the end of the year was evaluated as having not a great year. Now he'll never complain or anything like that. He's had a lot of jobs in his life. He's sold golf clubs, sold decks, along with working full-time with the National Hockey League. His goal was to always have a job where it was fun to go to work. Money had nothing to do with it. I think he got that from his dad and mother. He lived with his two sisters, Karen and Helen, for a while to save money. After that, we were fraternity brothers at Beta Theta Pi at Minnesota, and it was like Animal House. But Ron, like I said, was my best friend and probably still is, and worked for everything he got and more. And he's so proud to be part of that Rainy River and Dan Hutley's crew. George coached him, and Dan called me and asked me to present this award, and then there's nothing I'd rather do except for maybe play in front of that 7th grade party again. Thank you for doing what you do for Rainy River. I'm going to make sure I get some money out of Ron to make sure this foundation goes on. Mike Williams would be happy with that. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this.
Thank you, Dean. Our next induction, again, is for professional excellence. And at this time, we'd like to have the induction for Mr. David C. Herman. I should say Dr. MD.
Good evening. Well, thank you. How's this? There we go. Congratulations to my fellow inductees, and thank you very much for the recognition this evening. It's very much appreciated, particularly since it comes from people very close to my heart and from my hometown. Grimmer, it has been 50 years this year since I first encountered the academic excellence of Rainy River Community College. Biology from Lee Grimm, right here, and Phil Kangas for chemistry as a high school junior. I'm not sure that it even had a name then, but Rainy River was a pioneer in what's now called the PSEO, post-secondary educational option for high school students. There have been great studies on the economics of that and what a great value that is. And people always break it down to the numbers and say, well, it costs this much per college credit. But I think there's much greater value in that than you can break down into economic numbers. It's said that it takes a village to raise a child. And I understand the wisdom of that saying and all the initiatives that it's spurred and the goodwill that it's brought forward. Yet I think it could be better stated, it takes a community. A village is defined by its boundaries, but a community is defined by its relationships. The commitment that people have to each other and the commitment that they have to the future. And I think, thank you very much, George, for talking about opportunity, but I think the word that defines Rainy River Community College for me is the word community. From my first day at Rainy River Community College, that commitment to community was transparent, it was palpable, and being accepted into that community with its privileges and its obligations was a strong formative experience in my life and certainly in my career. A community is not an organization, but it's people, their relationships with each other and what they do together. And I would like to mention some of their names here tonight. The wise advice is often given that when you're recognizing people, you shouldn't state their names because inevitably you will leave somebody out. However, I think it's important to mention these names, and I've never been very good at taking wise advice anyway. Several people are here with us tonight. Grimmer, Thank you for helping me make the jump from high school to college on literally very short notice, and for sharing your passion and your excitement for learning. Alan and Gail Rasmussen, the family that you choose, thank you for your support, your love, and your friendship. Tom Riley, who is here tonight, the Hermans and the Riley boys had many a good time together. And many of the lessons that I learned from Tom, and Tom, your parents, Buck and Jean, I currently use in the work that I do each and every day. One, selling something for $1 that cost you $2 cannot be made up in volume. And two, and this is a true story, telling someone who asks you if you have swimming flippers for a size 14 foot that you don't have them, and trying to address their disappointment by telling them with a size 14 foot, you may not need flippers as much as you think you do, may not be the best approach from a customer service standpoint, and likely will not go into the annals of customer service at Riley Sporting Goods. Others who are not here tonight, Phil Kangas, who taught me chemistry and also taught me that trying to BS your way out of the wrong answer is probably not a good strategy. Aaron Wenger, who nurtured my love for astronomy and physics, which may have been a factor in our son Daniel becoming an astrophysicist. And Bruce Anderson, who taught me how to think like a mathematician. And thinking like a mathematician brought many interesting conversations to the dinner table at the Herman household. Questions such as how many Chevy Suburbans could fit into the sun. Other questions at flood stage, how long would it take to fill the Metrodome for the water that passes over the dam? Spoiler alert, there's a lot of Suburbans that can fit into the sun. And you'd be surprised how short a period of time it would take to fill the Metrodome with the water that passes through the dam at flood stage. So Nicole, the fact that you went into computational biology may be due to the conversations we had around the dinner table. I want to thank our children for their support. When you are a physician and a leader, the phone calls, and sometimes you have to leave, even when you're at the birthday party. To my parents, Kay and Wally, who are part of this community, and I think instilled the community service gene into each one of us. My brother Dan and my sister-in-law Jenny, who continue to be the stewards of this community, which is so important to the Herman family. And to my wife Karen, who has been my strongest critic and strongest supporter. I love you, and let's continue to work on that critic to support ratio that we've been working on. And to my colleagues at Rainy River, thank you for the support from the beginning through today, and thank you again for this honor.
Thank you, David, and congratulations once again. Our next induction is for Community Civic Excellence, and being inducted at this time will be Dr. Jeff Hardley.
I admire people who don't have to write notes. I want to thank the Rainy River Hall of Fame Committee and to my siblings who came to help me celebrate tonight. As a longtime volunteer, receiving a recognition like this is deeply gratifying. I had wished something like this for my mother, whose volunteerism was a role model for me. Since my siblings are here, I'll try to refer to her as our mother. Apparently, my tendency to refer to her as my mother was so persistent that my brother Lance started to call her Jeff's mom. I got the message. She volunteered at the Falls Memorial Hospital for decades and did get recognized for that. But she also, very quietly and without any fanfare, made 500 quilts that she gave to people that she would never meet in faraway places. When I attended Rainy River in 1977, it was at a turning point in our life. Just 1 year before, I had contracted hepatitis B while working on in a medical lab at the very tail end of my 4-year enlistment in the U.S. Navy. However, I didn't know I was infected until 2 weeks after my discharge, when I became desperately ill and unable to work and was without health insurance. It was tough on me, for sure, but especially tough on Mary Kay, who had to do everything else. She had to take care of the kids, she had to work, she had to worry about me and take care of me. Brother Lance came over and gave me nausea shots every day until I had to finally go into the hospital. So all I had to do was either survive or not. Spoiler alert, I did survive. Took a few months, but when I was well enough, the only job I could find was selling cars. It's a fine job if you're good at it, but I wasn't. And I think later I took the Myers-Briggs interest inventory, and in the report, in large red letters, it said, "Do not try to sell cars." About this time, I knew I had to go back to school. So the silver lining to having had such a serious illness is that I developed a sense of being given more time, and that I didn't want to waste the time that I was given. So when I needed it, there was Rainy River Community College, an affordable, high-quality education available in my hometown. And I had many of the same professors that Dr. Herman mentioned, and I want to echo what he had to say about them. I was taught by some of the best educators I've ever met before or after that. Lee Grimm, who taught several of my classes, obviously cared about his students and was always so accessible, and that meant a lot to me. From here to UMD and on to Mayo Medical School, and then I stayed at Mayo to become a psychiatrist. I served 3 years on active duty as a Navy psychiatrist after that at Naval Hospital Camp Pendleton during the first Gulf War. Didn't want to stay in the Navy, wanted to come home. And so upon returning to Minnesota in 1992, I became the first psychiatrist to reside in International Falls and had the distinction of being the only one in 100 miles. Treating patients here was, hands down, the greatest privilege of my life. I felt needed, I felt appreciated. It wasn't all good, though. For me, the biggest stress came from regular struggles with insurance to get the often overpriced treatment that my patients needed. Both insurance and drug companies had to protect their profits, and patients and providers were the losers in that struggle. The other major challenge was not having inpatient treatment beds available when patients were at their sickest, which was very frustrating and emotionally draining. So I mention these unhappy events because it's the tough times that make you, not the good times. And because I think these unhappy circumstances help drive my volunteerism. I'm sure that in my case, volunteer community service staved off burnout. There's something uplifting about joining with idealistic others who are motivated by a desire to do good or solve a problem. It's been good for my spirits. My volunteerism was always done as part of a group where personal initiative was needed but was backed up by others and the organization. And I'm going to mention some of them in town. Rotary, the Polar Ski Club, Rainy Lake Property Owners, Couchiching Aging Options, Voyagers Conservancy, which I've been members of, all have worthy missions and fine people working for them. It was obvious to me over time that volunteers are able to accomplish things. I felt admiration and affection for the people that I served with. It's easy to like them and easy to be around them. The Rotary Club in particular punches above its weight for such a small group. We need more members, and then we could do even more. I see some Rotarians here. There isn't time to go over all that Rotary has going, but I'll mention just one initiative. And this is Project LORE, Love of Reading Early. It's an evidence-based program. It promotes early childhood literacy and school readiness, mainly through advocacy, book giveaways, and collaboration with multiple community partners. Carol Grimm has been a major force in this program from the beginning. We started in 2017 or 2016. And for those who get a kick out of children, it's pure joy. Both Carol and I read to kids, 4 and 5-year-olds, and it's a hoot. and we get a chance to see how hard our teachers work and what a good job they're doing. Just one more toot on the horn. I'm so proud and grateful for the half-mile-long boarded walkway at Tilson Creek, built by the Polar Ski Club, with the Federal Recreation Trail Grant and the help of a match of community donations. This walkway improves our fitness and quality of life. And if you go there, check out the long list of contributors on a big sign at the start of the walkway. That bog walk belongs to the community. You paid for it. For those considering a volunteer role, all you have to do is have a good idea or recognize a good idea when you hear one. Make alliances. Many hands make light work. Keep taking steps. Reassess. Take another step. Keep doing that until you get to your goal or you hit a wall you can't get around. So let me close by thanking Rainy River Community College, my family, my friends, and fellow volunteers and community partners.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff, and congratulations once again. There's now time to move on to our Athletics Individual Excellence Awards. We will be having 6 people being inducted in this category. Our first one is going to be for Ken Surwa for men's hockey, and accepting on his behalf is not going to be Terry.
Billy Surwa.
Billy's going to come up and talk to us.
Well, I know Kenny wouldn't say much, so neither am I. I know he wanted to thank the community and the college for all they did for him, and he really wanted to put a shout out to Terry Thompson, Coach Thompson, for putting them guys on the right path. And he doesn't know how he took care of all of those pinheads, is what he called them. So that's all I got, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. We appreciate that.
He was talking about the players.
Our next induction will be for Mr. Paul Brown for men's hockey.
Are you sure I wasn't supposed to be academic here? Okay, Grimmers, that's good? Yep. Okay, thank you. Anyway, 2 years at Rainy River were a lot of fun. First year coach, John Sorodiak, and I know we were not very good to him. We drove him nuts because we wouldn't listen to anything he said. So then the next year we got a coach named Crazy. And then everything seemed to fall into place. And Bill's brother, Kenny, and I spent 4 years together, 2 at Rainy River and 2 at Gustavus. We had a lot of fun, with everybody at Rainy River. Thank you very much. Next.
Thank you, Paul, and once again, congratulations. Our next induction is going to be for Mr. Burtis Pee Wee Holden for men's basketball.
Hello there, everybody. First of all, giving honor to God for making this possible for us to be able to travel and make this trip. Second of all, I want to thank everybody who's headed this organization to set this up. This is a coming home celebration for me. Then I want to thank my kids for taking off, my family for being able to take off to come with me, my biggest supporters. This town here has been so amazing. When I first got here, I asked Coach, I said, Coach, how? You told me some things that got me here, but you didn't tell me everything. He said, well, you didn't ask. But this here town has been into my family forever, ever since it just marked me since I've been away from here. Because when I first come, it didn't have dorms. They placed me in the homes with people. I stayed with Coach for a while. I went to the Warners. I went to the Terrors. I went to the Wolves. And everywhere I went, they treated me just like I was a part of their family. So here I can say about this here town here. This is a family-orientated town here. I love you all. I did not make it to the NBA, but the kids here made me feel like I was in the NBA. Because after every game, they would come running out on the floor for me to sign autographs. And I would say, Coach, he said, they just want you to sign autographs. I said, oh, okay. And I would sign autographs. So, like I said, I love you all. This year has been an amazing journey for me to come from down south all the way up here. From water and tornadoes to ice and snow. When I first got here, I had a tour. They took me around and we were riding. And I said, this look like we're at the tree line. I said, look like we ought to be on a lake or something. And the guy said, we are. I said, what you mean? He said, we riding on ice. I said, so we riding on ice? He said, yeah. I said, hey, just as soon as you can you take me back? So we got off the ice. Next thing I did, I went fishing. I'm thinking we going fishing in the water, but you had to cut a hole in the ice. I ice fished. I did everything but cutting a hole in the ice and getting in the jacuzzi and jumping from one hole to the other. They couldn't get me to do that one. Didn't do that. I did the sliding. I slid down the hill. I tried to ski. Couldn't ski, too much water getting in my face too quick. So I didn't do that. But I want to thank the man who made all this possible. I believe if he would have talked to Michael Jordan before he went to North Carolina, he would have came up here. Because he knew everything to say. Yes, I went through some adversity, but Coach would always know what to say to make you forget all about it. All about it. And I don't know who did the seating arrangement, but whoever put me at this table over here, thank you. Because it's an amazing table right here where I'm sitting. I got a chance to talk to the baseball coach and the women's basketball coach, and they are still doing what the athletic department did when I was here, making the players feel at home. They don't just check on you when you're playing, they check on you when you're at home, they check on you when you leave from here. Because me and Coach still talk to each other right now. He done came down and visited. My wife is here with us in spirit. She dealt with cancer for 4.5 years. It came back into remission. September the 29th of last year, she transitioned. But I know she's here with us in spirit. And like I said, I thank my kids for taking off and being able to come, because one thing I do know, family matters. At the end of the day, it's all about family, and this here is my family away from home. My daughter want to come camping, and she want to go canoeing. So I done talked to everybody. They done told me about going out. Mark, I don't know if I'm going to get with you. Paul is still dreaming. We had to pick him up to touch the net, and he's still talking about let's go to the gym and play some 3-on-3 and dunk a couple. So like I said, I'm glad that whoever did the seating arrangement placed us where they did. I love you all, and I thank everybody who made this possible.
Thank you, Pee Wee, and congratulations once again. Our next induction is going to be for Erin Akers Sabers for volleyball, and accepting on her behalf is her coach, Mel Miller.
I'm really happy to accept this award for Erin Aker. Erin played volleyball at Rainy River in 2002 and 2003. And for those of you who don't know Erin, she was a 6'2" hitting and blocking machine. She had a signature drop shoulder serve and hit that was really powerful. Since Rainy, she has had shoulder surgery. She told me 3 screws later, she is partially bionic. Erin had a remarkable career at Rainy. Some of her accomplishments, she has the most kills in one season at 649, and she has the most career kills at Rainy River with 1,116, but she tied with Katie Carlson, if you can believe that. They both had 1,116. She had the most kills in one match at 33, most blocks in one season, 165, most career blocks at Rainy River, 254, and most ace serves in one season with 75. She also was named First Team North Division, All-State, All-Region 13B. She was honored with the All-Tournament team at all the tournaments, state, region, and national. She was an academic All-State, and she's a second team All-American. So she kind of did it all, and she could not be here tonight. She was very bummed about that. But she has a little letter acceptance that she wanted me to read. I currently live in Leeds, South Dakota. That is right by Deadwood, South Dakota, for those of you who have been out there, with my husband Jeremy, my 2 children, Andy and Lexi, and my mom. I work at Job Corps as a social worker and guidance counselor in Nemo, South Dakota, and I'm working on my master's in social work online through the University of South Dakota. Every fall, as I watch college volleyball, I reflect on my experience at Rainy River, particularly my freshman year. We had a special volleyball team that year, and being part of that team was a wonderful experience. I'm thankful I get to share the honor of being inducted into the Hall of Fame with my teammates, because every person on our team contributed to our success and goals in a way that allowed us to be as successful as we were. Thank you, girls, right over there. Then she goes on to say, first, I have to start out with my first interaction with Mel at a tournament in Bagley, Minnesota. As it turns out, she knew my mother, my kindergarten teacher, and several other key players in my life from her coaching and teaching days in my hometown of New York Mills, Minnesota. It seemed when she learned who my mom was, she saw potential in me. Her mom was a basketball player who played for NDSU and was really good. She saw potential in me I had no idea I possessed. I also have to mention the recruiting tactics of Mel and Ann Williams, who coached at Fergus Falls. Specifically, I remember Mel telling me International Falls was in God's country, and Ann told me it was the country that God forgot. Aaron lived really close to Fergus Falls, and I'll have to add this in there. I retired 2 years ago, and I really don't miss the recruiting wars. Ann and I battled a lot with recruits, and Aaron was one of them that I finally won. So I was pretty happy about that. But rest in peace, Ann died a few months ago. So just kind of neat when she talked about that. And she just said right then she knew she was going to go to Rainy River because it was further away from home, and she liked the area and campus better. There's several memories from our run to the national tournament that stick out for me, but I most remember our battles with Mesabi. When we played them in Fergus Falls during a tournament earlier in the season, I remember wondering how we were going to beat them. They seemed so much bigger, stronger, and faster than we were. We played them about 5 times throughout the season and got a little closer to winning each time until we finally beat them for the first time at the end. During the region tournament game, the gym was electric, and I remember Mesabi getting more frustrated with every mistake they made. I stuff blocked Mesabi's big hitter for the final point to win the match, and I was in disbelief that we had won. As soon as I saw Freya's face, I knew I wasn't dreaming. Gathering on the court with my teammates and being able to share that experience with people who had become my friends was so amazing. The national tournament was an experience I won't ever forget. Getting to meet teams from all over the country, having Mel be selected our region coach of the year, and getting second in the nation in an all-Minnesota final was something I could never have dreamed I would experience in a million years. I'm very blessed to have shared that experience with my teammates and Mel. I have to say that our team had a magical chemistry that only the best teams possess. Everyone had one common goal, which was to win matches and get to nationals. We were able to execute that so well. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me to join the Hall of Fame. I am truly honored. I could not have won those games and tournaments alone, and I am so grateful to have been a part of this team. You are all not only great volleyball players, but truly some of the best people that I have ever met. Also to Mel, who I know is reading this, thank you for plucking me out of a small town and giving me the opportunity to continue to play volleyball. You have impacted my life greatly long after I left Rainy, and I am truly thankful for everything you did for me. Congratulations to the RRCC volleyball team of 2002 on being inducted into the RRCC Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Our next inductee is for women's hockey, or excuse me, is for women's basketball, and that would be Daphne Walker, and she's unable to be with us this evening to accept on her behalf. Coach Peter Humber.
Thank you, Jim. So, Daphne Walker, Big Daph, Super Daph, she would be here. She is heartbroken that she couldn't be here, but she just had a new grandson born yesterday. And Knowledge O'Shea Walker is his name, and I think he's 6 pounds, right around there, and 20 inches long. So I'd love to share the pictures with you, but yeah, Daph, one of the best, best people that ever walked through our doors. She was, there wasn't anybody on her team or opponents that didn't love her. She was kind, understanding, compassionate, happy. She was just a joyful human being, and she brought joy to all the people that she was around. Super talented. She ended up being all conference, all state, all region. And that was back when it was all one class. Same as when Pee Wee played, it was all one class back then. So to get to nationals, you had to go through Division I teams. In 1994 is when they actually divided into three categories: Division I, II, and III. And it gave you the opportunity for schools like ours to get to the national tournament and compete, which we certainly have done and done well. But yeah, so she was a remarkable player. She led our team to the state championship against Anoka. She just brought out the best of her team, about everybody. And I remember sometimes I'd come to the gym and it was always kind of comical because Daph was about 6 foot and all of her teammates about 5'3" to 5'6", and they're all standing around her and kind of looked, like she had her little group there. But yeah, she just wanted me to let you know that she is so honored. Her time in International Falls, Rainy River Community College is so special. And, I guess in concluding, I would have to say that, the joys and memories that you make are fantastic, but the blessing of the present is nothing like that. So congratulations, Daphne.
Thank you, Dieter. Our final athletic individual excellence induction will be for Brentley Anderson for women's hockey, and to accept on her behalf will be her mom, Heather Anderson.
Can you hear me back there?
Keep it close.
Yeah? Okay. Brentley was here a few years back, and she's actually taking a head coach training session in Saskatchewan this weekend, so she definitely couldn't make it to both places. So I'm just going to read off of my phone what she sent me. Okay, so she said, "I am sorry I cannot be here tonight, but I'm very grateful my mom is able to accept this unbelievable honor. Thank you to the committee and anyone that was included in selecting me for this amazing recognition. I am extremely flattered. I want to also thank my coaches, Evan Omdahl, Les Bragg, Evan Marsh, and Kevin McNarland, and all my teammates. Without them, my mom wouldn't be standing up here today on my behalf, which goes to show how amazing and supportive my parents are. I want to also thank my parents for believing in me my whole life. Without their support, none of this is possible. I started skating at a very young age, and I think she was actually 2. We bought these little skates for her at Zellers. I don't know if there's Zellers in the States, but we lived in Winnipeg at the time, and she just took off. I don't know, it was incredible. I wish I had a phone and could have taped it, but back then we didn't. But she said I started skating at a very young age, and I fell in love with the sport. Aside from family, hockey has always been my #1 priority. Nothing felt as amazing as being on the ice. I was lucky enough to play 2 years at our RCC. I had the most amazing teammates. We were runners-up at nationals my first year in 2009 to 10, and then we came back in 2010 to 11 to capture the national championship while I was here, and still consider them all great friends to this day. I loved my time at our RCC. It allowed me to keep playing the sport I love. It also paved the way for me to continue playing at the university level and has played a major part in why I still coach today. I want to help girls grow and develop into strong women through the sport of hockey, like I was fortunate enough to do. And as her mom, I just want to thank everyone here, that had a part in her. She was our oldest, and we only left her an hour away. But I never worried about her. I knew she was in good hands, and she made a lot of good friends, and there's a lot of great teachers here and people. So back to her. I just want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Henry Ford. He said, "Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right." Thank you again, and have a great night, everyone. Sorry, and I just want to, sorry, my husband passed away 3 weeks ago today, so I know he's looking down on her and had a lot to do with her playing sports, and I'm sure he'd be very proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. We will stay with athletics, but we will now move on to coaching excellence. And our induction in this category will be for Mr. David C. Horner for men's basketball.
Before Coach gets up here, I feel moved to say some words about him. Coach recruited me out of Melrose, Minnesota, and he just, I'll echo everything Pee Wee said. He just made you feel so cared about, so special, so appreciated, and I look forward to seeing him every day, pop in his office. And he's a second dad to me. He's a second dad to me, and he just really enhanced my experience, helped me go on to play at Moorhead State, and he's always cared about me as a person first, and that just meant the world to me. And Coach, without you, there is no me.
I should have talked to somebody beforehand to make sure that I was on before Pee Wee. I don't know that I can follow that at all. Just a couple of short messages here, if I could. First of all, I'd like to thank the people responsible for inviting me here and giving me this honor. I feel it a huge honor to have my name included with the likes of Al Rasmussen, George Schlief, and in the past, Lee Grimm, Rayberg, and so on. They all meant a whole lot to me. And to be included at the same time as one of my players, Bertus Pee Wee Holden, makes it very special indeed. Pee Wee played for RCC from 1979 to 81. He came here from Natchitoches, Louisiana, and he brought his son Chris, his daughter Krista, his grandson Victor, I believe that was it, wasn't it? Okay. Along with him to the ceremony. I'm sure his wife Petula, and he mentioned that before, is with him tonight just looking down. Myrna and I had a chance to meet her about 18 months ago. We made a trip to New Orleans and then back up to Natchitoches. And we were so happy to get to meet her and see what a beautiful person she was. Myrna and I flew in from Casa Grande, Arizona, and have our son Eric and his wife Victoria here with us. And he also graduated from RCC, as did two of my daughters, or both of my daughters, I should say. I realize coaching is a concern with winning and losing, and hopefully most of that is the winning part. We had some good teams and good players, but I was just as concerned about teaching sportsmanship, playing as a team, getting along with your teammates, and people in general. To be honest, I was and still am a teacher. I take great pride in knowing people are learning and are happy to be learning from me. I remember numerous times in games and so on, taking a player out of the game at the end of the game when it was close, whether we were winning or losing, and it would be the end of his career, and I'd hug you, and he'd always say, "Love you, Coach." Again, thank you all, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Coach, and congratulations once again. We will now move on to our athletics team excellence inductions, and our first team to be inducted this evening, as we have already heard about, is going to be the 2002 women's volleyball team, and to accept on their behalf is going to be head coach Mel Milligan.
On behalf of the 2002 volleyball team, I would like to thank the committee for nominating us to be inducted into the Rainy River Community College Hall of Fame. We're honored to become a part of this special group. 22 years ago, 10 young women moved to International Falls to continue their education and to play the game they love. We immediately knew we had a talented group of athletes with great chemistry. Some of those women are with us today, and I'm going to ask that they come forward as I read their name. First of all, Freya Peterson Dick. Freya came to us from Deer River High School, and now she lives in Grand Rapids. Krista Peterson McNear. She also, and they're twins if you don't know, Deer River, and it's exciting. She just moved back to Grand Rapids from North Carolina. Krista and Freya, their kids are amazing athletes already. They're young, but 7th, 8th grade, and well, Krista has a daughter that plays for Appalachian State. She's playing in Italy right now. So, all of you, just kind of on your radar, start watching Grand Rapids women's or girls sports. You're going to see their names a lot. Kelsey Briggs, International Falls. Krista Johnson, Indus, now lives in Ely. Alicia Hasbrook came to us from Nevis, and now she lives in Park Rapids. And we were so lucky this year. Tricia Peterson, come on up. She was our student volunteer, and she is Krista and Freya's sister. Players that couldn't join us tonight include Aaron Aker from New York Mills, Holly Imhoff from Little Fork, who now lives in Detroit Lakes, Becky Boughton from Little Fork, Ashley Rock from Bertha, and Michelle Miskowitz from Cook, Minnesota. That year, our team went 30-8. We won the North Division, got second place at the MCCC State Tournament, won the Region 13B Tournament, and advanced to the National Tournament. At the National Tournament, we surprised everybody by sweeping our pool, beating all of our opponents in 3 straight sets. Back then, games were played to 30 points, and in our pool play, none of our opponents scored more than 20 points. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. I know everybody was like, who are these people? Because we were tiny, you know, we're small schools, so nobody really knew who we were, but by the end of pool play, they knew who we were. In the semifinal game, we beat Cedar Valley College out of Texas in 4 sets. And then in the final game in the national championship, we lost to Ridgewater College from Wilmer in 4 sets. Krista, Freya, and Aaron were honored by being named to the all-tournament team there, so that was a big honor also. And just kind of in closing, I used to always tell my teams that someday you'll be able to tell your kids that you played college volleyball, and that's an honor that many girls just dream of. I'm happy to tell you that now you can watch the national championship game with your families. I found the VHS tape. We made digital copies on a flash drive for all of you. As we were doing this, I have to give credit Tina Myers. You guys all know Tina. She helped me do this, download it, digitize it, and all that stuff. And she said, I just have to say this, volleyball has changed a lot in 20 years. So really, though, take time and enjoy that. Our first couple sets were a little shaky, but our third and fourth were really, really good. So I hope you enjoy that. And I just want to say to you girls, I hope that when you reminisce about your past, that Rainy River Volleyball is an important part of that memory. I know it sure is for me. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel, and congratulations, ladies. Our final induction this evening is for Athletics Team Excellence, and it will be the 1999 men's hockey team, and accepting on their behalf will be head coach Dan Huntley.
You need to go back 25 years, and I still have some relics from the national tournament. We've got our program. I've got my game sheets from all three of the national tournament games still, things that I hold a lot of pride in. To look back and to realize what these guys accomplished by winning a national tournament for this small school up in International Falls. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees for the leadership they've provided to all of the students, to other faculty, to other coaches along the way. You were very supportive. George, Sue, Alan, for hiring me and giving me an opportunity to come up here and live life a different way than from the Twin Cities. Thanks to the committee for recognizing the great accomplishment of our 1998-99 hockey team. I know only a few of the things that these young men accomplished outside of hockey during their time here at Rainy River. Last night we heard a few of those stories as we had a fish fry, and we heard a little bit of the episodes of J.P. Nye, some of the things that he did after he left the fish fry. So it was good to hear that they were good kids. They got themselves in trouble and out of trouble, but they were accomplished on the ice. Most of those things should be kept to this group of highly accomplished men, though. At the time of recruiting and developing our team, I certainly focused on bringing in great talent. Men that I could find to bring to this border town. For some, it was their home. They were from International Falls or Fort Francis. For others, it was a bigger city, bigger than their hometowns. For others, they couldn't find it on a map. In the end, the 1998-99 season was one for the record books. We were coming off a successful but very disappointing season with high hopes of winning a conference, a regional, and a national championship like the 1977 team did. This group did not disappoint, and our community rallied when we needed them the most. We were the host of the 1999 national tournament. We went 25-3-0, losing 2 times to an NCAA Division III Minnesota Crookston team, and had 2 losses at home, one to Crookston and one to MSU Bottineau. Hosting the national tournament was a community endeavor. For our players, they really didn't know what was going on. It was other meetings, it was sponsors, it was getting people to support our program and getting out into the community. We had many businesses, individuals step up to serve, something this community has always done. 2 of those individuals here tonight and deserve much more recognition above the accolades that they were showed earlier. Dave Horner. Dave was the AD at the time. He served as the tournament director. And Alan Rasmussen, who was our president, spent 6 games running the penalty box to perfection. And it's an interesting penalty box in Bronco Arena, I can tell you that. Cal, you know that as well. In the end, it was this group of young men who put all their differences and backgrounds aside and committed to excellence on the rink. They were consistent in their efforts at practice. They found ways to sneak into Bronco Arena late at night, trying to perfect their skills and to just be around each other. I believe our team was built from the net out, but our forwards sure could score some goals. We were led by a handful of second-year players, and in the second half of the year, we were led by a sole captain, Sean Sorodiak. Sean was named the regional and national tournament MVP after having been moved from the previous year as a centerman to play defense, which isn't an easy move for a guy. And then to be able to have a successful year like that was a great accomplishment. Any of you that were around back in 1999 might remember the Janke brothers. Who wouldn't? Quirky, crazy, and dedicated. But they really changed our program over those 2 years that they were here. What you may not remember is that even with their abilities, they weren't the leading scorer on our team that year. That was a young man from North St. Paul, Tom Larson. Tom and I had a great meeting and recruiting opportunity. We share a great story of meeting in a Perkins in just outside of St. Paul. Had a connection with his high school coach, and lo and behold, here's this kid that comes up and has a great career with us and leads us in many ways. We had so many personalities on our team, and I could talk a lot about each of those guys, but there's not enough time. So I just want to talk briefly before I bring all of them up to receive their Hall of Fame plaques about the national championship game. That's why we're here. It wasn't because we were just a good team that year, it's because we won, and we won a title. This community was an inspiration. The history, the arena, again, the 1977 championship team provided many things for our team. We had 2 parents that had sons on our team that were on the 77 team that got inducted last year into this Hall of Fame. And so tonight we have a father-son combination times 2 into the Rainy River Hall of Fame, both national champions. I'll walk you back to our game versus SUNY Kenton, winners of 14 of the 27 national championships put on by the NJCA. Number 1, SUNY Kenton versus number 2, Rainy River. In many ways, it was a winner-take-all game, although MSU Bottineau had an outside chance to win. Seems odd when there's a championship game, but if Rainy River lost the game, Bottineau had a chance to win because of a 3-game round robin and tiebreakers and all kinds of things that could happen. In the end, I knew that going into the game, we had a 2-goal lead because of the tiebreakers. So we started the game in our minds up 2-0. And that's a significant impact of how you can start a game. By the midpoint of the second period, though, Canton had a 2-0 lead on the scoreboard. So that erased that automatic 2-0 start that we had. In a 4-minute and 23-second span, the roof of Bronco Arena in Rainy River had just become a place that was, you couldn't hear. You couldn't think. We scored 4 goals in 4 minutes and 23 seconds to take a 4-2 lead. It started with Scott Aikenhead scored 2 goals. Tom Larson had a tip-in goal. Sean Sorodiak had a goal. And all of a sudden, we had that 4-2 lead going into the end of the second period. And what a special moment. And the roof came off. I remember grabbing John Sorodiak, my assistant coach at the time. I said, John, just take a look around here. I was yelling in his ear because you couldn't just talk. And I said, just look, spin yourself around. This place is unbelievable. And just put this into your memory. And for all of our guys, it was a special moment as soon as that happened. We came out for the third period. Lee Janke scored 11 seconds in, and all of a sudden we were up 5-2. Dale Sager made multiple critical saves in some pressure situations, and we finished with a 6-3 win to send these boys into a frenzy of emotions. For all of these guys, it may have been the highlight of their athletic career. Many of them, it was the last time they competed in a competitive environment. For some, they went on to play at other places, but they might not have had the opportunity to win a championship. Last night, for me, rivaled the victory as we all got to share a meal and some time together telling stories of old days. My heart was filled, seeing the room filled with great men. What an opportunity to bring those people back on our 25th anniversary. Even more special when you have that kind of bond with those kids and you see the emotions and the conversations that they have over that amount of time, and to come back and share this night with them. I'd like to invite my assistant coach, John Sorodiak, to come up and greet all of our players. First up was our sophomore captain, Sean Sorodiak.
Congratulations, Sean.
Sophomore Jason McBride. Sean, why don't you come over here? Sophomore Jed Swenson. Freshman Michael Body. Freshman Shane Aikenhead. Freshman Tom Larson. Freshman J.P. Nye. Freshman Mike Dick. Freshman Cal Groet.
Looks like a Groet.
Next one.
I know, here he comes.
Freshman Scott Linvall. Freshman Justin Bounds. Freshman Dominic Eisenzimmer. Freshman Jim Avers. Freshman Scott Aikenhead. Freshman Joe Sinclair. And all tournament All-American Dale Sager.
Didn't have a mustache when you were playing goalie. He couldn't grow it.
thank you very much for this induction, and we'll see everybody next year.
Folks, it was a wonderful evening. Congratulations once again to everybody who was inducted this evening. And again, thank you to the Rainy Lake Foundation and Rainy River, Minnesota North Rainy River for having this event. We'll see you again next year. Thank you.